We've already talked about changing fractions into decimals. That's what we did with our last session. It was very easy. You just divide out the fractions. Not too bad. Now, this is possibly even easier, and we're going to go from decimals to fractions this time. And the two things I want you to write down, and you may not know what the first one means yet, but you will in a second. Number one is put the number over the decimal label. Over would mean as like a fraction, like the decimal label would be on the bottom and the number would be on the top, and then we're going to reduce it down if possible. And again, you'll understand what this means in just a second here. Alright, here's the first decimal I'll show you, and everybody should know that this is 6/10. And what I mean by putting the number over its label, if you read this decimal, it's exactly how it sounds as a fraction, 6/10. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the 6 on the top, and the label is tenths. That's going to go on the bottom, so it's 6/10. That's how you would write that.